Hey folks, I'm here to answer some questions. Esther asked me to talk a little bit about values-based leadership, and I'm sorry if I'm brief here, but I've been trying to record these for about 4 times now, so I'm going to try to speak briefly about all of the answers to her questions, and hopefully it sparks a really interesting discussion. And sorry I can't be there. So the first question Esther asked is really like, what discoveries, realizations did you have about yourself as a professional as a result of the journey, the values-based leadership work? And I attended a journey in Alabama in October of 2012, I believe. So I really came away with 4 realizations, or 4 things that are on the top of my mind at this point when I've been reflecting on it. One is a real deeper understanding and value of the diversity core value in our work. I think being in Alabama, we spent a lot of time focusing on the civil rights movement and looking at issues of race in our work and issues of class in our work. And I think that brought it really to the forefront for me, and was really meaningful, a really meaningful experience for me in thinking about how that plays into our work and how I need to consider it and value it, and just really make it a part of who I am and what I believe and what I do in this work. The second thing is really about thinking from other people's perspectives, and I think that's really tied to the diversity core value. I think in special education, given my identity, the things that and the work that I do, I think I felt coming into the journey that I had really looked at other people's perspectives, but the journey really pushed me to recognize and to see that there are far more perspectives and far more voices in the world than just the ones that I understand or am aware of. And so it really pushed me to seek out those perspectives and be inclusive of those in my work. The third one is really a design perspective, which is that experiential learning is important and should be a part of everything that we do, and even the most mundane tasks. And so that really put at the forefront for me about how powerful those types of things can be if they're done well and done at the right time. And then personally, I think it really helped me realize that there's no one archetype for leadership. And I think going into the journey, my mindset probably was something around the idea that as a society we value one certain type of leader, and even as an organization we value one a certain archetype of leader. And this really pushed me to see how my own identity might create a different type of leadership, and how to respect that and honor that, and see that I can have an equal amount of impact being true to myself and being the type of leader that I can respect, and the type of leader that fits with who I am as a person. The next part of Esther's question is really, why do you think it took this experience for those insights to come? And I think I really have 3 responses to that. One is that journeys really fight time pressure. So in a typical, if we were to typically create reflection time, it usually gets stalled by the urgency of our work and the other things that are going on. So journeys really force you to commit to a certain period of time, just to focus on the reflections and to focus on your own leadership. And that's a really powerful thing. And so the time that's provided there is meaningful in itself. The second one is that challenging our core beliefs really takes vulnerability. And one of the things that journeys really do well, and values-based leadership really does well, is before you get to the meat, or get to the challenging part of the conversation, in terms of getting to those difficult conversations, there's a lot of time and effort spent in the work building relationships, and learning to become open, and being comfortable with discomfort, and being open to vulnerability. And I think that really sets you up for a lot of success. And the third one is really that experiences and reflections that create mindset shifts take time. So along with the first and second point that I made, journeys really create space to first get to that vulnerability that's so important to get to the mindset shifting, but then it also creates enough time to reflect and actually experience things that will shift the mindset. So it's a combination of the first 2, but I think it is a third point here. And the next question that she asks here is really what value do you place on those insights? And I would say, I have two thoughts here. One is that these were immensely helpful, like these insights and like discoveries that I had on the journey were immensely helpful in thinking about my own leadership and how I want to operate and how I want to lead the work in special education. And second, like, I think it really pushed me to be more cognizant of all of the perspectives in our organization and in the world in which we work. And so, I think I try to be more broad in my approach, and I try to be true to myself as a result of the journey. And I think, like, those have been really powerful and meaningful to me as a leader and as a designer.